hope the wind isn't going to be too much. I'm on the paved road, and I'm about to start back up the lane, but this time looking toward the east, toward the right. I'll show you right there, just this side of the concrete tile, is where the railroad went up through. This area right down in here was a swamp. It was a swamp when I started. Now I drained it. And now I can see that there was once some kind of a foundation just past the electric pole. I'll go over there. This ditch that's coming along here, I've had water in that before, but I chose to not continue to have water there. But in the process, right about where I'm standing, I hit a foundation, or the remains of a foundation. Now, up there by that ash tree, there's a place that is not natural, small, and I don't know what it was. That bank just above what's going to be my blacksmith shop was originally here. It's part of what I think was an attempt to lay out streets for a later village. And right over, there's a causeway that goes across the meadow. With the grass high like this and it's not mowed or graze short, it's very hard to see this. But there's a bridge. I'll go there. Okay, there's that, what's going to be my blacksmith shop when I get around to finishing it. And there, I'm standing on the causeway, and I built this bridge, temporary bridge, out of fiberglass to mark where it was. This water comes from a spring, which we'll look at in just a moment. Now, where the causeway went to, I'm not sure. I think there was probably a bridge across Oppenheimer Run. And right here goes what was, I assume, had to be what was the little railroad. Now we're going to go up to that spring house, or where there was a spring house. That was so you could hear the water. This spring house was worked on at a later time, and it of course needs to be cleaned up. This might be the original building in this hollow, but I don't know, maybe it was just a spring house. Over there along the bank you can see where a road headed on up from where there must have been a bridge of some kind. But now the main road, the paved road, goes on up. Okay, where next? I should tell you that building, which is also not completed, I just moved it from across the road. When I finish it, it will have a water wheel underneath it. My grandfather built that, but he built it across the road. I brought it here. Just about here where I'm standing, right in the middle of the meadow, or meadow if you want to say it, there was some kind of a building. I can tell that because when I ran the contour ditches, they ran in such a crooked way. There's a level spot right about where I'm standing. The vegetation shows it too when the cows are down here grazing. That ground there washed down, that had to do with the road. They put a towel and they didn't do a good job, and that washed down like what's called a delta. A fan delta in the Alps. When I retired, they knew that I liked plants, and they gave me a gift certificate. And here's some bamboo. It's doing all right. Bamboo. It's been here for 2 years now. It's not the kind that's aggressive. This is the outlet to the pond. Boy, was it a struggle to find this, to unblock this, to clear it, but it's working fine now. And I'll walk up now the breast of the pond and show you where that water's running in. It took me a long time before I got smart enough to make the outlet that way. It always used to clog. But it doesn't now. I'll just keep filming here. The meadow is it will be quite a job to eventually get that mowed short. It's been a struggle, and have it grazed short. That area right over there is where the picture, that old picture, estimated 1870 maybe, that's where so many buildings were. But buildings, I think, went along there as well. The cherry tree house, of course, was moved here. I told you that earlier. And right over there by that old apple tree, which I talked about at the beginning, and that light pole, there was the foundation. I've begun to suspect that this pond, my grandfather chose to make this pond because it was so swampy here, and it may have destroyed the remains possibly of the iron ore washing. I don't know. Students that I had here built that for fun. They were here on a field trip. There are features down here below the pond that I do not understand. There is one, for example, that seems to make a right triangle, or I mean a right angle. At this confluence, maybe there was a bridge, I don't know. And up here, I'll show you, I'll shut it off, but I'll show you where something is not normal. Good, you're going to be able to see this. There's an area here where the water always comes out of the ground brown. And I most recently had thought maybe there was a, maybe that's tannin, and this was an old tannery. Now I'm beginning to think again iron, and maybe it comes at, I used to think maybe there was a buried piece of machinery here, but now it fits in my mind with the idea that maybe there was tremendous ore washing done in this area, and that's the result of it. I've crossed the pond to show you a place where I think that there was a foundation. When my grandfather chose to make the pond the way he did, I think he was working around a foundation. This is water draining from that area. I'll have more to say about that area in a little while. But anyway, used to be muskrats and snakes. When I was little, there were snakes that lived in here. They used to fascinate me. But the stones and these holes that have sunk in, they indicate to me that here was a foundation. As a matter of fact, I have no doubt. Even that bank, which you might or might not be able to see, the bulldozer that made the pond would not have made that bank. Not this one. And probably not that one. And I'm going to go across this temporary bridge to show you that the railroad apparently came up through here. And then where, I'm not sure, but I'm going to go up there. I planted those basket willows, but right along where they go, always trying to go on a contour line, there's a stone wall underneath them. And this is an area which I do not understand. Not yet. My grandfather built the pond, and here was the inlet to the pond. There's a pipe right down in there. Now we're going to go up there. These ditches are my attempt to drain this area, and it's working. It just takes a while. But there are features here I do not understand, especially these two right here. I thought at one point this might have been a double water wheel. I don't know. Right down here near the creek like it is. Just up there, there is a stone wall. Now, if I had to come up with an answer, I would say it had to do with the cleaning of the iron ore. But that's kind of a new thought. There goes a bank that was a continuation of the railroad. I built that stone wall. This is a crossing. When I came here, there was a bridge, but it always washed down the creek, and I replaced it many times until I made it into a ford. right in there, there was something, some kind of feature. But that land now belongs to my cousin, and I have stopped trying to claim that and explore that unless she would want that. Up by that pole is where there seems to have been a digging out of clay. Now, this area is level because there was something here, and right up above it, between that hawthorn and that hawthorn, there was a feature, and right up there, a bridge. Maybe I'll continue on up that way. But I did want to tell you that as I walk in the ditch with these rubber boots, with my feet I can feel the foundation. Since my ditches always go on perfect contours, I go along and I have sneakers under these rubber boots, and I can feel where that foundation is. Just this side of that apple tree, well, maybe I'll go there. No, I'll go there later. We're going to go on up the hollow a little bit. Right in here, there seems to have been a feature. That stone right here is kind of a giveaway. Laying there, maybe you can, I don't know if you can see it. That something was here. I had tried to use this as a ford, but I think that there was a bridge. That crossed just about here, but that is just a guess. And there was an area right in here beyond that brush pile that was so swampy I had to lay rugs on it for 2 years to get the vegetation to lay down enough so I could ditch it. And that's because it was level. The water did not run away. It is a feature. There's that old apple tree I used as a reference early, and these are those crab apples, or hawthorns. I'm reluctant to walk up through there because it is so thorny. I'm still in the process of trying to get that so it's walkable. But I now suspect that that was where maybe the iron ore was cleaned. This was all skunk cabbage about 4 years ago, but then I started the mowing of it. And right up by that dead, I think it was a maple, maybe an ash. I'm going to go up there next. Ta-da! The first skunk cabbage of the year 2013. I don't mind the plant, but I had to mow it in order to be able to begin to drain this whole area. Here is that dead maple, I guess it is. And see the water boiling up from the ground there, like an oiled agua. I've exposed this. Actually, it was students that were here. The archeology club, we called ourselves. We began to drain this area. So where does this water come from? Well, I can show you where some of it comes from. And this might have been the lower end of that suggested inclined plane from my first video. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to tell where things are. Tremendous amount of mining right across the creek. That level bank is part of it. Someday I'll maybe go over there and show you. But if you looked at the video with Andy Perkin iron mining, he was working up in there with his homemade backhoe. This water seems to be going nowhere. Well, it's going, I'm quite convinced, into a drain that was part of the system of that. I'll just move along it. I don't know if you can tell it's there or not. That hump is where a minecart track went, revealed by the water. Even that sugar maple right there, I think it's a sugar maple, tells something of the archaeology, because on certain places on this farm they were planted at a certain time. But look at this. That could run like that for 6 months and it won't fill it. So that is a drain. And I suppose it finds its way out there. When Oppenheimer bought the property from all these individual owners, he also bought the rights to run a railroad across a lot of properties, and with it the rights to do whatever drainage was necessary. Alright, I guess we'll head back down. That's up there is where I started with Grandpa Jim Biss, and there's the cherry tree house. But I have one more video to show you.